Urquelle in space. Yep, that's how they ended the series, a 9-year-long show in Family Matters with Urquelle in space. Yeah, we gotta change that because Family Matters deserve a better ending than that. So that's what we're gonna do at Cause of Black Y'all TV. We're going to give Family Matters the proper ending. So with that being said, here we go. So first, let's retcon Family Matters by going all the way back to season 5. Season 5 has a pivotal episode to where Steve creates a cool elixir because Laura basically lectured him, saying that he needed to stop being himself and he needed to be cool. So that's what Steve does, and he becomes Stefan Urquelle, and he woos his friends, his family, he woos Laura, and in one of the greatest scenes probably in Family Matters history, they dance to Babyface, a great episode.
I never thought I'd say this in a million years, but what? I miss Steve Urquelle.
Why?
Because he had feelings. He cared about people. Face it, Stefan, numero uno on your list is you.
Can you blame me?
Yes.
However, what I would change about this episode is that it technically never happened. Why? Because it was all a dream. Urquelle used to read Rolled Up magazine, Salt, Peppermint, Heavy D, Limousine. It was all a dream as Laura dreamed of Stefan Urquelle and realized how much she does appreciate Steve and apologizes to Steve after having that dream.
How about a hug?
2 seconds.
So now we get to a few seasons later, season 7, the very end of season 7, to where Steve is supposed to go to prom with Myra, but Myra gets sick. So now Steve says he doesn't want to go to prom, but then decides he's going to go to prom even if he has to go to prom by himself.
Tonight's my night. And I'm going to the prom even if I have to go all by my lonesome.
Steve, wait. I'll go with you.
Right!
Under 2 conditions.
Oh, no, baby.
First, I go with you when you pick up your tux.
Dang, no more of those.
I want your solemn promise that you won't bump, break, or destroy anything at the prom.
I promise. I'll try.
However, in a plot twist, Laura asks Steve out to prom. Yes, Laura actually asked Steve out to prom. And so they go to prom. And Steve actually wears a suit, a tuxedo that fits. Laura actually has a good time. And in the end, Laura and Steve kiss.
There's only one thing that's keeping this from being a perfect life.
Well, what's that?
This.
Which sets up season 8.
Steve?
Myra,
How are you?
fine. Fine. You?
Good. Good.
What's going on here?
Nothing.
I gotta go. Bye.
I'm fine.
To where after Laura and Steve kiss, now Steve's subconscious starts to work on him because even though he dreamed all my life, I've dreamed of someone like you. Even though Steve has dreamed all his life, to have that moment with Laura, he realizes that it was wrong and he has to tell Myra.
You what?
Originally, Myra is going to go to kill Laura, but then decides, you know what? I've done everything you wanted me to do, Steve. I've been the perfect girlfriend, and you do not appreciate me. So you know what, Steve? You can kick rocks. I'm out. So Myra actually breaks up with Steve and moves on. So now, for the rest of the series, you have Myra play basically the antagonist, to where Myra is like a sworn enemy to Steve. So now when Steve does scholastic competitions in college, Myra is right there to be his opponent and have that tug of war of intellect. When Steve goes to try to be the president of student council, Myra's right there to compete with him. So now she went from being his rock, his supporter, to being his true competition. Meanwhile, Laura is in college and is in a sorority to where she's helping with a fundraiser to where guys are auctioning off kisses to the highest bidder. And Steve gets involved, and because Laura has a heart, she's like, bro, we gotta update your look, bro. Like, these suspenders and everything, we gotta update your look a little bit. Try to tone down the clumsiness, right? Stop just think about what you're doing, okay? Just slow your mind down a little bit. So Laura fixes Steve up, updates his look, and kind of gives him a little bit more pizzazz. And Steve goes into the auction full of confidence. However, nobody bids on Steve, to the disappointment of Steve. Well, that's until
$100. Going once. Going twice. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who am I kidding? Sold to me. Come on over here. I want my kiss now.
You do? You do?
Yes, so it's after this kiss that everything changes. And it's at this point to where Steve and Laura realize that there is a connection there. Laura realizes there is a connection there. And they start to date, which leads us to season 9, the final season. So first, let's talk about Carl. Carl actually decides to retire from the force. He's worked in the force for over 20 years. He's done everything there is to do, and he's going to get his pension and relax, kick up his shoes and relax his feet. Meanwhile, Harriet, on the opposite side, gets a promotion at her job to where she becomes the big boss at her marketing firm. And now there starts to be tension between Carl and Harriet, because not only is she making more money than Carl, but she's making more money than Carl ever did as a policeman, which starts to build insecurities within Carl.
Harriet, the person who makes the most money, wears the pants in the family. Well, you're making more money than me now. So you're gonna stop wearing the pants. Oh, look, you already are.
Meanwhile, you have Eddie, who decides to drop out of college. He is a college dropout. Shout out to Kanye.
Dad, I want to do something that makes a difference. I want to work with people I respect and admire. I want a job that's different and exciting every day.
And what kind of fairy tale job is that?
It's your job, Dad. I want to be a cop.
But last but not least, that brings us to Laura and Urquelle, who, in the middle of season 9, in the Christmas episode, decide to get engaged. Yes, Steve Urquelle asked Laura to marry her after not only being together a year, but knowing each other all their lives. And Laura says yes. But that's not only the important part. Another important part of the Christmas episode in season 9 is Harriet. Harriet, who, after being promoted to the big boss in the marketing firm, gets an offer to set up shop overseas for 3 months in Paris. Well, eventually, she does tell Carl about the job offer, and originally Carl doesn't like it, but then realizes that, hey, you've stood by my side all these years as a cop. When there were nights that you worried that if I would even make it home, and who am I to stop you from living your dream of going overseas, setting up shop in this marketing firm in Paris. You have my blessing. I want you to be happy, and we'll be here waiting for you when you return. And Harriet moves to Paris for the next 3 months. And this is how you write off Harriet, the character, instead of replace her with someone else, which in the meantime, we're at the end of season 9, the series finale, the big wedding between Steve Urquelle and Laura Winslow. Now, mind you, let's get to the other characters once again. By the end, Carl decides to get back into the force and become a police officer, being side by side by his son. So we wrap that up. Next, we have Harriet, who comes back for the series finale to help prep Laura as she's about to walk down an aisle. And last but not least, we have Steve Urquelle, who, in old Steve Urquelle fashion, is trying everything in his power not to mess up the wedding, but because it's Steve, he does. So he messes up the tuxedo, he messes up the limo, he almost messes up the church, but by hook or by crook, he finds a way to finally get everything in order before Laura walks down an aisle. So Laura and Steve are at the altar as the preacher asks if anybody opposes this marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace. And who pops up but Myra herself, who is trying to make a whole scene saying that this whole marriage is going to be a sham, it's supposed to be me, but Steve couldn't be faithful, da 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 da. And here's where we get Steve going to Myra and apologizing for treating Myra the way he did all those years, to where Myra apologizes for interrupting, and they actually settle their differences as Steve goes on to continue his vows to Laura, as both Steve and Laura say I do. And Laura Winslow becomes Laura Urquelle, as Steve and Laura are now married, and that's how you end Family Matters. So let me know what you think about how I ended Family Matters. How would you have hoped that Family Matters ended? Do you even think that Laura and Steve should have got together? Do you feel like Myra should have stayed? Do you feel the series should have ended at season 8? Let me know. Comment below, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things are the things. And this is how I feel because I'm black, y'all. Because I'm black, y'all. Because I'm black and I'm black and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, yo. Because I'm black and I'm back.